I fucked myself so hard about 2 weeks ago that I unlocked a whole new level of self-confidence and self-worth within myself. And we're going to talk about it today because you cannot be a self-confident person if you are not experiencing and allowing yourself to explore with your own self-pleasure. So grab some coffee. We're going to dive into this. And don't worry, we're not going to get too TMI with the actual act itself. But the whole aspect of this is that I am an advocate for self-pleasure. I talk about the importance of self-pleasure over and over and over again because self-pleasure is so much more than sex. It's so much more than masturbation. It's so much more than coming. Self-pleasure is a way to not only reconnect with your body, but to reconnect with you as a human being. And all of you can be looking at me and thinking, oh my God, it's just ejaculation, or it's just screaming, or it's just squirting. It's really not that big of a deal, but it absolutely is that big of a fucking deal. When you give yourself the permission to explore your body in a safe and supported environment, you are able to see exactly what your body is capable of, which is a really beautiful experience because I don't believe a lot of people on this planet, especially women, recognize how truly incredible their body is. And when their body produces an orgasm, creaming or squirting, what a fucking big deal that is. And how incredible it is to be someone who gets to experience that on multiple levels. And it does make you recognize that you are so worthy of so many things. Yeah, masturbation will do that. And this is why I'm so adamant on discussing masturbation and telling women that they should be self-pleasuring, because no one's going to make you come like you can make yourself come. Masturbation and knowing your body is the best way to be able to make your sex life better, because then you know what makes you tick. You know what feels good. You can communicate that to a partner. Masturbation leads to knowing yourself at a deeper level and allowing yourself to feel safe enough to explore the utmost amount of pleasure you can. When I did my session about 2 weeks ago, I pushed my body beyond the limits that I believed it was capable of, because I had put limits on myself of my own capabilities of what I could do. And when I pushed beyond those limits, because I felt safe enough to do it, because I felt secure enough, and because I said, I think I'm capable of more, and I was capable of so much more, it was like in that moment, it unlocked just a new level of self-confidence and self-worth within myself, because I recognized, holy shit, that was incredible. I am incredible. And it is a privilege to be with me in that way. It is a privilege to be with someone who is capable of doing what I just did. And it made me feel so worthy of so much in that moment, and also make me recognize how I was selling myself so short on so many levels of my life. It unlocked this new level of vulnerability within myself that I didn't even know that I was capable of. All of this from a masturbation session. Since that session, I was able to have super deep, vulnerable conversations that I didn't think I was capable of. I was able to set boundaries. I was able to see my own self-worth and not accept when other people didn't see that. I was able to speak my truth more in the last 2 weeks than I think I basically have in a very long time. It unlocked this new level of just knowing myself and trusting myself and my inner gut. And it was incredible. Masturbation is a way to get to know yourself on a whole new level. So if you are a woman and you are not masturbating and you are wondering why you are struggling with self-confidence, it's because you're not allowing yourself to know yourself on a deeper level. We discussed this yesterday with mirror work, right? Which I hope you did your homework, where you stood in front of the mirror, looked at yourself naked, allowed yourself to see yourself. That's a huge part of it. But you have got to allow yourself to also touch yourself, to connect with yourself again or for the first time. Because when you realize what your body is capable of, and when you feel those multiple orgasms, it is unlocking a little bit of a deeper layer inside of you every single time. And a lot of us tie our self-worth into other people, not our fault. We all do it. I do too. But when you are able to self-pleasure, you are able to tie your self-worth to you and what you are capable of. And it does make you feel like you are worthy of so much when you see what your body can do and produce. Masturbation gives you wings. It's like Red Bull. Self-confidence comes from recognizing your insecurities. We discussed that yesterday, and embracing them and just being like, yes, I am so fucking highly insecure, but I'm beautiful and I'm self-confident within my insecurities. It's also recognizing that you can trust yourself because you are safe with yourself. Masturbation allows you to be safe with yourself in that moment, by yourself in that moment, and it gets to be your time all about you. If you are struggling with self-confidence and you are not touching yourself, that is why. Because there is a disconnect from you and your body, just like we spoke about yesterday. And reconnecting with your body is great, and masturbation 1000% does that. It helps you reconnect with your body. It helps you reconnect with you too. It helps you reconnect with this deeper inner knowing and truth of yourself. It allows you to recognize your self-worth, your beauty, what your body is capable of, how incredible you are. It helps you do all of those things. Yeah, masturbation does all of those things. And so if you were sitting here and you are saying, I don't feel confident, how can I be confident? And you aren't even allowing yourself the permission to touch yourself, to get to know yourself at that level, because it is a soul level. That's one of the reasons why. Because you cannot be a self-confident human being if you feel like your body is a foreign entity and that it is not a piece of you. And I get it if you're at a place where you're not there, right? I was at that place, I think 2 years ago. I barely ever masturbated. I was just I don't have the energy, to be quite honest. I was in my own state of fight or flight and freeze mode, and the way I got out of it and the way I started reconnecting with myself and my body again was through masturbation, was giving myself the permission to explore on my own without a partner. Not that my partner ever pressured me to do it, but I just wanted to be with me. I just wanted time for me by myself so I could figure out what makes me happy in that realm. And it led to so many positive changes in my life. It led to helping me grow to learn and respect my body and to love my body. It led me to doing boudoir photos where I'm fucking sitting in a stream completely butt-ass naked. I wouldn't have been able to do that 2 years ago. You could have given me $1 million. I would have told you to fuck right the fuck off. I wasn't at that state, but I am now, because I do make time to be with myself fairly often. Even though I do have a partner and we have a happy, healthy, really lovely sex life, I still make time to be by myself. At least I try on a weekly or bi-weekly basis to connect with myself and remind myself what I am capable of. And you should be doing the same, because we can talk about self-care, right? That word gets thrown around. It's bubble baths, it's this, it's taking yourself shopping. It's fucking yourself. Self-care is fucking yourself, because that's the time where you just get to be with you in that moment and you get to let yourself go. And nothing makes you feel more self-confident than after you get done with a session and you've been able to provide yourself with 1 to multiple orgasms, and you can walk out of that session and be like, that was the coolest thing I've ever experienced. I did that. My body did that. It produced that. And you get high off of the endorphins and the adrenaline and all of the feelings that come up with that. And that helps you recognize how extremely powerful you are. The female body, ladies, it's fucking incredible. And I talk about this all the time, and I am through my own kind of self-exploration phase as well, where I continue to explore what my body is capable of. And it's fucking incredible when you unleash this aspect of yourself, this permission that you give yourself to be a sexual being and to be a self-confident person, because you are a sexual being, because we all are sexual beings. We always paint men as these like visual sexual creatures. Women are just as sexual. We have our own way of doing it, and that's our thing, but we're just as sexual as men are. And we can explore our bodies and give ourselves the permission to self-pleasure just as easily as men give themselves the permission. So go and touch yourself today. Just do it. I mean, and I know if you haven't done it in a while, it may be a little awkward, it may feel a little foreign, but you're never going to become self-confident if you can't get confident in just knowing and loving on your body in a sexual way. Because you have all of these beautiful parts. Why are you not playing with them? That's the point of them. They're to play with, to experience maximum pleasure. And when you are at that level in masturbation, let me throw my hands at you. When you are at that level, when you are masturbating and you are at your utmost vulnerable moment, right? Like it is when you are having an orgasm, it is the time where you are the most raw, carnal, vulnerable aspect of yourself ever, right? And when you see yourself in that moment and you recognize how powerful your vulnerability is in that moment, it's epic. Because it gives you the permission to be vulnerable in every aspect of your life, because you recognize how powerful being vulnerable is and how brave it is and how outstanding it is. It is all of these beautiful words, and we shy away from so much vulnerability so much. I do too. I get it. But since I had this session, like I said, I've unlocked this whole new level of vulnerability where I am just like, I'm gonna say what I feel. And if that makes people uncomfortable, that's not my fucking problem anymore. I'm gonna say what I feel, and I'm gonna speak my truth, not only to a bunch of random strangers on the internet, which I'm actually quite lovely at doing, but I'm also gonna do it to the people in my life. I'm gonna let them in. I'm gonna talk a little bit more, because there are so many people in this world who don't have the balls to be vulnerable, and I don't wanna be one of those people who is always constantly thinking, what if I didn't say it? Like, what if I did say it, but didn't? I'm gonna just fucking say it. And I'm not going to make other people's reactions about it mean anything about me anymore. It gave me so much self-confidence to allow myself to be that fucking vulnerable in this moment. And that's why masturbation is so important, because there are so many fucking layers that unlocks within an individual. But I have to get to my hair appointment because I'm going to run late. I was going to do this later, but I wanted to get on beforehand. But if you have any questions, feel free to message me about it. Get out and just play with yourself today, people. It's National Play With Yourself Day. But honestly, just get out and touch yourself today and just connect with yourself on that level, because when you connect with yourself on a physical level, you connect with yourself on an emotional level, an intelligent level, a vulnerable level. It all is intertwined, because sex is never just sex. Masturbation is never just masturbation. There are so many layers to it that when people are like, it's just sex, it makes me laugh. And I'm like, what kind of fucking sex are you having? You must be having some terrible sex. Because everyone knows that true, amazing, can like change the way you function on as a human being on this planet, earth-shattering sex and orgasms comes from intimacy and connection. And if you can't, in vulnerability, and if you can't open yourself up on those three levels in order to experience that earth-shattering sex, you're never going to be able to have it. And that's your fault, because you can't open yourself up on those levels, because it's never just sex. For anybody who says, I feel like it's just sex, you're having some pretty shitty sex then. Because sex is so beautifully intertwined in so many levels to just try to generalize it and make it seem so minimal and minimize it like that when it is something so big and so beautiful, and it deserves to be showcased in that way. So yeah, that's all. Have a nice day, guys.